Good morning, guys. How are you? Good. Have you ever had something sad happen in your life? Did it happen just yesterday? Yeah. Something sad that you cried, maybe? Okay. And you thought you'd never be happy again? What's that? Well, okay. So you understand what I'm talking about, right? How many have pets at home? Do you love your pets? How would you feel if your pet was lost or that you'd never see them again? How would you feel? Really sad, right? Would you cry? Yeah. Well, I had a dog named Peanut. And Grace probably heard this story before. Okay. Do you remember it? Yeah. Peanut. She was a little small Sheltie, okay? And she went with us. We were living in Southern California, and we drove up with her, and we brought her up here to visit my dad and mom up here. And we decided to go to the zoo that day. You remember that? We went to the zoo that day and left Peanut home with my parents' dogs, and they were someone was going to come over and feed them in the evening so that we could stay at the zoo all day long. Well, what happened was is the neighbor girl came over and she opened the door and Peanut shot right past her. She was scared. She didn't know where she was, and she was missing. She was going to go look for us. Well, the zoo's over in Portland. We live over in Vancouver. Do you think she was going to make it over there? No. So she ran across the street. The teenage neighbor tried to get her to come, but she didn't know her, and so she wouldn't come. And so she took off across the street and went on into some woods. Well, she called us. We came back home right away and started our search. And we looked. And we looked. Peanut! Peanut! Here, girl, Peanut! And we listened. Couldn't find. Didn't hear anything. We looked all over. It was getting late now. Kept looking. The sun went down. It was in the summer, so the sun was going down late. But by 9 o'clock, the sun was starting to go down. And so we went home. Do you think my kids were sad? Yeah, there was 4 of them, and they were all crying. We'll never see Peanut again. I said, well, I don't know, but we can pray about it, right? So we prayed. We knelt down and we prayed and we asked, please find Peanut for us. Bring her back to her family where she's loved. So they went to bed. It was by this time, it was about 10 o'clock or 10:30. I can't remember. It was late, and they went to bed, and they had been crying, and I had been crying. And so I decided that I would go out one more time to see if I could find Peanut. So I went out, and I walked up and down the streets of the neighborhood. Peanut! Well, it's late. It's like 11, 12 o'clock at night. Peanut! Peanut! I didn't want to wake the neighbors or anything. There was a couple that were sitting on their porch, and I asked them if they'd seen a little black and white dog. No, we haven't. Okay. So then I went over and I looked up into the stars and I said, Jesus, I know that you know best, but and whatever you decide to do with Peanut, I'll still trust you and love you. But you know what? If you want to make some brownie points with 4 kids back at the house, I said, you could find Peanut for them, and I'm sure it'll go a long ways in their faith in you. Was that the right thing to pray? Well, anyway, that's the way I did. So as I went, I started heading back. It was after midnight, and it was quiet out. It was just very quiet. No cars, So as I was walking home, I kept calling, Peanut, Peanut, shh. And all of a sudden I heard this little yip. I turned around. What is it? Yip. Peanut. Yip. And I just walked a little farther, tried to go towards it, and then there was some woods over there, and I was looking, it was dark, and I was looking, and all of a sudden I see this little something white pop up in the long grass like this. And I go, and then all of a sudden there she came right out of the long grass out onto the sidewalk. And she came running up, and she was happy to see me. And I was happy to see her. What do you think I did? I picked her up and hugged her and ran right back to and woke the kids up. Do you think they were happy? That took away their tears. Now they had tears of joy. They were so happy they were crying because they found Peanut. Jesus found Peanut for us. And so remember that Jesus has promised us that we may suffer and we may go through some sad times, but he said, joy is coming. There will be joy after that. Okay? You can go back to your seats now.